Anyways, hi, my name's Gun, and today the topic I'll be talking about is a very obvious one. It's something that's in your life. It's something that's in your mindset all the time. But we don't realize how impactful it is, or how important it is, or how much it could hurt us until we really sit down and think, how much expectations am I putting on myself and others? And obviously my topic is expectations. It's more specifically expectations on relationships, on friendships, on people close to us, and how it could really hurt us. Okay, obviously to give my speech some credibility, I did some research, right? And I stumbled upon this article. It's an article written by John A. Johnson. He's a psychologist at Penn State University. And the title is The Psychology of Expectations. Surprise. Anyways, this article, it states a study done by Jean Piaget. And those of you who don't know who Jean Piaget is, he's a pretty renowned psychologist. He's done theories of cognitive development in both children and adults. And if you've read articles about psychology, or if you've taken a course about psychology, you probably know who he is. Anyways, a specific study done by him is mentioned in this article, and that's what I'll be talking about right now. But disclaimer, it will sound confusing at first, but it'll make sense as I go on. So the name of this theory is magical thinking. It's, before I explain what it is, I want to give you some fundamentals on our thought processes as humans. See, humans run on two thought processes. One is primary, a primary thought process, and the second one is secondary thought process. Primary thought processes are in our minds when we are born to the age of 7. That's your primary thought process. And what is primary thought process? It's a thought process where you think everything is fantasy, like imaginative. Have you ever seen a kid play with toys, models, action figures? And they seem to have more fun with it than we would. We look at it and it's like, that's silly. But the kid out there is like, it's cool to him, right? That's their primary thought process, taking control. They're more imaginative. Now we get to the secondary thought process. The secondary thought process is what you have. It's what I have. As teenagers, as adults, or I hope you guys have it. It's something that involves morality, consequences, rational thinking, logic. It's what you develop after the age of 7, right? So it's what our minds use to make decisions. We look at consequences. We look at the morality of the situation, how it will work out. And that's our secondary thought process. Anyways, I'll get into magical thinking. And what magical thinking is it comes with primary thought process. It's the same essence. It's more of a subcategory. Magical thinking is when, here's an example. It's when a child looks out the window and sees it raining. He sees the clouds pouring rain, and he thinks to himself, yeah, it's raining because I want it to. Or he sees an accident happening outside, and he thinks, yeah, it's because I want it to happen. See, children under the age of 7, since they're still in their primary thought process, they still have this term called egocentrism. They still think things happen because they want it to. They still have a very first-person point of view. And that's what magical thinking is. Magical thinking is when you think something and you're convinced that it affects the physical world. So, this might be confusing up to this point, but how does magical thinking tie into expectations? See, magical thinking is said to only happen with primary thinking, right? But recent studies have shown that it doesn't. Even as adults, we still magically think. We still have this theory in our head. Look at superstition, law of attraction, manifestation. We all still have a part of us that think these things might be true. Things out of the ordinary, things that have no causation, no evidence. So linking it to expectations is, obviously these two sound different, right? Magical thinking, you're sitting here and you're thinking, hey, it's something a child would do. I'd never think like that. I'm not silly, I'm not dumb, I'm not young. But you're sitting in the same chair, and on a day-to-day basis, you still expect things out of people. I expect things. You expect things. It's in our nature. It's normal, right? It seems like a more mature thing to do. But is that correct? Expectations is predicting something another person's going to do. It's predicting something a different person's going to do. Someone with different values, different morals, and different standards. We're predicting what they're thinking without asking them. We're predicting what they're going to do in the future. This is not a superpower. We don't have that. So expectations and magical thinking, in theory, are similar. They're the same thing in essence. Anyways, on to my main point. It's the point that expectations can really be poison. It can be irrational, it can cause disappointment, and worst of all, it can cause resentment, hate. Well, when I look at something in my own backyard, in my own community, I see a big stereotype with Asians. We have strict parents, right? And, there's this saying, you're either an engineer, doctor, CEO, or you're a disappointment. And it's sad, but it's true. I see this mindset in a lot of places I go, in a lot of families I see. Well, luckily not my own household, I hope. Anyway, it's unfair for the parents to expect things out of their children. See, parents in a lot of ways, there's a lot of parents that expect things out of their children before they were even born. They make plans for their children before they were even conceived, maybe. Doesn't this sound like magical thinking? Doesn't this sound like the parents predicting the future, every step of the way where the children's going to go? They don't realize that the child is going to be a different person than them? See, this is the purest form of magical thinking. It causes pressure, it causes disappointment, and if your bond's not strong enough, it causes resentment. It's unhealthy. Even if the parents' expectations, intentions for those expectations are good, it doesn't disprove the matter that it still causes heartache for both sides when the child doesn't exceed or even get to the expectations set. Anyways, to a more generalized point. See, when we look at relationships in general, there's this unspoken rule. The rule of give and take, right? I give you something, you take it, and then you give back. Saying it would make you a jerk, basically, because you're like, I gave you this, you should be giving back, but it's an unsaid rule. See, but my point is, when you give something and expecting something back, that's also another form of magical thinking, because we're different people. We're not robots. Here's a clear example. How friendships are built these days, at least I see in my generation, is we listen to each other's problems a lot. We call till 1 a.m. We listen. And let's say friend A listens to friend B's problems a lot. He just sits there and listens to friend B's problem. Friend B has problems with his girlfriend, his family, his grades. Friend A is always there to listen. But when friend A wants to express what's going on in friend A's life, friend B is not there to listen. I have a question. This puts a strain on the friendship, doesn't it? It causes disappointment. Why didn't friend B give back the same effort to friend A? Well, friend A has this tunnel vision on the expectations that friend B has to give back exactly the amount of effort and exactly the same thing friend A has given friend B. Right? In a lot of times, we're different people. We have different values. So friend B could give back to friend A by doing something else, by driving friend A to school, by cooking him meals. But friend A is so focused, so tunnel vision on this expectation that friend B has to listen to his problems the way he listens to friend B's problem. See, this is magical thinking. Friend B is not wrong because he has different values, different things he focuses on, different ways to pay back. Friendships are not super black and white where we can just expect things out of each other. This causes resentment. And as you've seen maybe on my poster, there's a quote called, "Expectations are pre-mediated resentment." And I agree with this. See, when you expect something out of someone, out of your friends, parents, child, in most cases, it causes resentment. When you expect something out of someone, you expect the perfect image of that person in your mind. I don't think that's correct. So in conclusion, and I hope you guys were listening, what you should take back from this speech is a changed mindset. Obviously even I've struggled changing my mindset, but this basically states that if you can't control things around you, why do you? If people are different, why do you keep expecting, predicting things out of people? We have different values. We have different mindsets. That's why we're different. That's what makes us special. So change your mindset. Instead of giving to people, expecting something back, don't. When you give money, when you listen to their problems, when you give birthday gifts, when you drive them places, you don't expect anything back. You do it with your heart. You do it with your passion. You do it with your motivation. So you don't get disappointed. And the most important thing you should take back is to love what you do. When you love what you do, you're never expecting anything back from anyone. Do good things for the sake of doing it. Enjoy the journey, not the destination. Thank you.